Tactical, give me options, Captain Novak commands, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The bridge crew works with practiced precision, their training overcoming the surreal reality that they face humanity's first alien encounter. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, tactical officer of the Defiant, responds without taking his eyes off his console. Ma'am, their weapon systems are unlike anything in our database. Energy signatures suggest directed plasma technology, potentially capable of atmospheric penetration if they reach Earth. Chief Science Officer Dr. Washington interrupts, her dark eyes wide, as new data streams across her station. Captain, I'm detecting unusual radiation from their propulsion system. If we can disrupt it at the precise frequency, we might force them to drop out of their approach vector. Novak nods, weighing their limited options. The Defiant was built for this moment, a deterrent never meant to be used, yet designed with every contingency in mind. Its revolutionary adaptive defense grid can theoretically counter unknown weapons, but only if given enough data to analyze attack patterns. Communications, continue broadcasting on all frequencies. Let's make absolutely certain they understand we're trying to talk. She turns to her XO. Commander Chen, initiate Defense Protocol Theta 3. Position us between Earth and that vessel, but maintain non-aggressive posture. The massive warship responds instantly, its engines flaring with controlled power as it maneuvers into position. On the main view screen, Earth's blue curve provides a stark backdrop to the approaching alien craft. Sleek, angular, and unmistakably designed for combat. They're charging weapons, Jackson announces, his voice tense. Novak makes her decision. Shields to full. Prepare countermeasures but hold fire unless I give the command. We represent humanity here. Let's show them who we are. The alien vessel suddenly accelerates to attack velocity. In the tense silence of the bridge, Navigation Officer Lieutenant Patel whispers what everyone is thinking. They're really doing this. They're attacking Earth. Captain Novak stands, her posture resolute as she faces humanity's first interstellar threat. This isn't how first contact was supposed to go, but it's the hand we've been dealt. Tactical, targeting solutions for their weapon systems only. Disable, don't destroy. As the distance between the vessels rapidly closes, she addresses her crew one final time before engagement. Whatever happens in the next few minutes will define humanity's place among the stars. Remember your training, remember who we are, and remember what we stand for. We are not conquerors or victims. We are explorers and defenders. Let's show them exactly what that means. The alien ship fires its first shot across the void, a brilliant streak of energy that marks the beginning of humanity's greatest challenge, and perhaps its finest hour. The Kravik energy blast impacts the Defiant's shields, illuminating the barrier in rippling waves of blue-white light. On the bridge, damage reports remain silent, a testament to the experimental shield technology that just passed its ultimate test. Shields holding at 92%. Lieutenant Commander Jackson reports, unable to mask his surprise. Their weapons are powerful, but the adaptive grid is compensating. Captain Novak leans forward in her command chair. Now we show them what we can do. Tactical, execute pattern Epsilon. Target their main weapon emplacements and propulsion. Precision strikes only. The Defiant moves with startling agility for a vessel of its size, banking hard and accelerating in a maneuver that seems to defy physics. Chief Engineer Rodriguez's voice comes through the comm system. Captain, the inertial dampeners are straining. We can maintain this for 3 minutes at most. We won't need 3 minutes, Novak replies confidently. The human warship completes its turn, presenting its smallest profile to the Kravik vessel while bringing its main rail gun batteries to bear. Unlike the energy weapons preferred by the aliens, humanity has perfected kinetic projectiles accelerated to near-relativistic speeds, simple in concept but devastating in execution. Fire, Novak commands. The rail guns discharge in perfect sequence, each shot precisely calculated. The first two projectiles impact the Kravek shields, creating localized failures that the targeting computers instantly analyze. The third and fourth shots thread through these vulnerabilities, striking the alien vessel's primary weapon emplacements. On the view screen, the crew watches as sections of the Kravek ship go dark. Their return fire weakens significantly, becoming sporadic and uncoordinated. Their shields are failing, Jackson announces. One more salvo will disable their engines and leave them dead in space. Novak raises her hand. Hold fire. Let's see what they do now. Minutes pass in tense silence as the damaged alien vessel attempts to regroup. Sensors indicate frantic activity aboard the Kravek ship, emergency protocols, power redirections. They're preparing to launch smaller craft, Dr. Washington warns. Likely boarding vessels. Novak stands, her decision made. Target their launch bays with minimum force. I want to send a message, not start an extermination. The Defiant fires once more, the precision shot sealing the Kravek launch bays without breaching the ship's main hull. The alien vessel goes still, all aggression ceasing as they process the implications of humanity's controlled response. Open a channel, Novak orders. All frequencies, all formats. I want them to hear this clearly. When Communications Officer Diaz signals readiness, Captain Novak delivers the message that will reshape galactic perception of humanity forever. Kravek vessel, you attacked without provocation. We defended without extermination. Your ship is disabled but salvageable, your crew alive but contained. This is humanity's response to aggression, measured, precise, and merciful. We still wish to talk. The choice to continue hostilities or begin dialogue now rests with you. Dr. Maya Chen works feverishly in her linguistics lab, surrounded by holographic projections of the alien communication attempts. 36 hours without sleep has left her exhausted, yet the breakthrough remains tantalizingly close. The problem isn't mathematical, she explains to Captain Novak during a brief status update. They understand our number systems perfectly. It's conceptual translation. They have no frame of reference for certain human ideas. Novak studies the patterns floating between them, such as cooperation without submission, alliance without dominance. Chen zooms in on a recurring symbol cluster. Their language contains extensive vocabulary for hierarchy and subjugation, but almost nothing for equal partnership. The captain considers this revelation. That explains their attack. They couldn't conceive of peaceful contact between equals. Exactly. Chen manipulates the translation matrix. I've been focusing on visual representations of mutual exchange rather than verbal concepts, if I can. Her explanation halts as the alien symbols suddenly rearrange themselves, forming new patterns that the computer begins to interpret. They've adapted to our approach, Chen whispers in amazement. They're learning faster than anticipated. Within hours, rudimentary communication establishes the foundation for the first formal meeting between species. Security protocols remain at maximum as the Kravek delegation, Commander Vornak, and 2 advisors, boards the Defiant under heavy escort. The aliens move with deliberate precision, their scaled skin shifting between deep purple and blue tones. 4 eyes, 2 primary, 2 auxiliary, scan continuously, missing nothing. Their posture communicates both caution and fascination. In the conference room, Captain Novak stands as they enter. Welcome aboard the Defiant. We appreciate your willingness to engage in dialogue. Dr. Chen's translation device converts her words into the pulsing tones of Kravek's speech. After a moment of consultation among themselves, Vornak responds, Your ship defeated ours. By collective protocol, we expect execution or neural reconfiguration. The translation carries confusion beneath the formal words. Instead you offer conversation. Explanation required. Novak measures her response carefully. Humans believe understanding should precede judgment. Victory creates responsibility, not just authority. We seek knowledge before taking irreversible action. The Kravek delegation exchanges glances, their skin patterns rippling in what Chen recognizes as their equivalent of intense discussion. Vornak finally responds, "This concept contradicts collective doctrine. The strong determine truth through dominance." And yet, Novik counters gently, "Here we are, speaking rather than fighting, despite our demonstrated strength. Perhaps there are alternatives to collective doctrine worth exploring." The alien commander's auxiliary eyes narrow, while his primary set widens, a conflict of reactions that Dr. Chen notes with fascination. When Vornak speaks again, his tone contains something new, something the translation matrix identifies with uncertainty as curiosity. Perhaps, he concedes, this human approach warrants investigation. They will not negotiate as we are doing now, Vornak explains, his translator converting his pulsing tones into level English. On the Defiant's strategic display table, a holographic representation of the approaching collective armada glows ominously. The Arcath believe themselves evolved beyond error. Your victory against our scout vessel will be classified as an anomaly requiring correction. Captain Novak studies the alien fleet's formation. 17 capital ships, 32 support vessels. How would the collective typically deploy against a single planet? 3 capital ships would be considered excessive, Vornak replies. This force is meant to eliminate all resistance and ensure Earth's resources remain intact for harvesting. The senior staff exchange grim glances. Commander Chen breaks the silence. They expect total surrender or a short, overwhelming conquest. Then they know nothing about humanity. Lieutenant Commander Jackson mutters. Captain Novik traces a finger along potential approach vectors. Earth's combined fleet can mount a defense, but casualties would be catastrophic. We need an alternative strategy. She turns to Vornak. You mentioned this spatial anomaly. Why would it offer an advantage? The Kravek commander's secondary eyes narrow. The structure exists in a region the collective avoids. Their navigational systems fail near it, rendering their targeting systems unreliable. And you're sharing this information because, Dr. Washington asks, skepticism evident. Vornak's scales shift to a deeper blue. My species joined the collective through conquest 3 centuries ago. We serve because alternatives meant extinction. Your approach, strength tempered with restraint, suggests possibilities the collective cannot comprehend. You're hedging your bets, Novik realizes. If we survive, we might represent a counterbalance to Arcath dominance. Pragmatism, Vornak acknowledges. A trait our species shares. Chief Engineer Rodriguez interrupts with news from his station. Captain, long-range scans confirm the collective fleet has increased speed. Time to intercept revised to 47 hours. Novik straightens, decision made. Alert Earth Command of our plan. We'll escort the Kravek vessel to these coordinates, assess the tactical advantage this anomaly might provide, and transmit findings. As the bridge crew mobilizes, Vornak approaches the captain. There is something you should understand about the structure we seek. The collective avoids it for reasons beyond technical limitations. The few exploration teams sent to investigate never returned. You're saying it's dangerous, Novik observes. I am saying it judges. The alien responds cryptically. The Arcath fear judgment. Humans, with your curious balance of aggression and mercy, may face a different perception. The Defiant's engines power up as course calculations complete. On the view screen, Earth recedes, a blue jewel now under imminent threat. Whatever secrets await at the spatial anomaly, Novik knows they represent humanity's best hope against the approaching storm. Engage FTL, she commands. Let's see what the collective fears so much. The away team moves cautiously through the ring station's vast corridors, their footsteps echoing in spaces untouched for millennia. Captain Novik leads the small group personally, a decision her security chief protested vigorously, but ultimately respected. These patterns repeat throughout the structure, Dr. Washington observes, scanning the flowing symbols etched into the metallic walls. They appear decorative, but my tricorder suggests they're actually data conduits, still active after all this time. Rodriguez runs his hand along one of the patterns, and the wall responds with a soft blue glow that follows his touch. It's almost like it's recognizing us. Impossible. Vornak interjects. His scaled skin has taken on a pale hue that Dr. Chen's cultural notes identify as anxiety. Collective scientists determined the station's systems are incompatible with all known biological forms. All known to the collective, Washington corrects gently. She points to a section where the patterns converge into a complex spiral. This configuration resembles neural pathways, but with multiple potential connection points instead of fixed routes. Novak studies the alien design. You're suggesting the technology adapts to its users rather than requiring users to adapt to it. Precisely. The collective's hierarchical thinking would render this approach unusable to them. Washington's eyes light up with scientific excitement. They'd try to force the technology to conform to their expectations rather than allowing it to respond naturally. The team continues deeper into the station, eventually reaching a vast chamber that appears to be a control center. Curved panels line the walls, dormant but intact. In the center stands a crystalline structure resembling a tree, its branches extending toward the ceiling where they connect to a dome of swirling energy. Rodriguez approaches one of the panels, which illuminates at his proximity. Complex schematics appear, shifting and reforming as if responding to his thoughts. "Captain," he breathes, "I think I understand how this works. The station's defensive systems are still operational, just dormant, and they're incredibly powerful. I'm seeing weapon designs that could neutralize the collective fleet with minimal effort." Vornak moves closer, his anxiety visibly increasing. The collective attempted to control these systems. Their scientists were found changed. The RCAF classified this location as prohibited after the third expedition failed to return. Changed how? Novak asks. Before the alien can respond, the crystalline structure pulses with sudden light. The energy dome above intensifies, bathing the chamber in radiance that seems to pierce through to their very thoughts. "Captain," Washington whispers, "I believe the station is scanning us, evaluating us." The light concentrates on Novak, and for a brief moment, she feels a presence, ancient, vast, and curious, examining her consciousness with gentle but thorough precision. It's not just a weapon or a refuge, she realizes aloud. It's a test. The Defiant executes a near-impossible maneuver, rotating on its axis while maintaining forward momentum to bring all starboard rail guns to bear. The collective vessels, accustomed to enemies who retreat rather than engage, momentarily falter in their coordinated attack. Direct hit on targets 3 and 7. Lieutenant Commander Jackson reports as the bridge trembles under return fire. Their shields are adapting to our weapon's signature. Captain Novak grips her command chair as the inertial dampeners struggle to compensate, modify railgun frequency, and continue evasive pattern delta. Status on the station's defense grid. Communications Officer Diaz responds, her voice strained but professional. Dr. Washington reports 30% activation achieved. She needs at least 7 more minutes. We don't have 7 minutes, Rodriguez cuts in from engineering, the background noise revealing the controlled chaos of damage control teams. Port shield generators are overheating. 2 more direct hits, and we'll have breaches on decks 4 through 6. On the tactical display, the massive Arcath dreadnought moves into position, its silhouette dwarfing the surrounding vessels. Energy readings spike as it powers its primary weapon, the dimensional cascade that can literally tear apart the fabric of space. All hands, brace for impact. Novak orders. Divert emergency power to forward shields. The cascade weapon fires, its effect unlike anything human science has encountered. Space itself seems to ripple and distort around the Defiant, creating gravitational shears that threaten to pull the warship apart at the molecular level. In engineering, Rodriguez watches in horror as structural integrity fields begin to fail. A sudden inspiration strikes him, born of desperation, and human intuition. "The FTL drive," he mutters, then shouts to his team. "Reverse the drive field polarity and channel it through the shield generators." Now, on the bridge, alarms blare as systems approach critical failure. The view screen shows the impossible, reality itself fragmenting around them. "Engineering to bridge." Rodriguez's voice comes through, distorted by interference. "Captain, I'm reconfiguring our FTL drive to generate a counterwave. It might stabilize the dimensional distortion." "Might?" Novak questions. "It's theoretically sound but completely untested. And it will drain all our power reserves." The ship groans under increasing stress. Decision time. "Do it." The Defiant's engines emit a distinctive pulse as the FTL drive activates in reverse configuration. Energy cascades through the shield system in brilliant waves that interact with the dimensional distortion. For a terrifying moment, nothing happens. Then the space around the Defiant begins to stabilize, the rippling effect diminishing as the counterwave neutralizes the Arcath weapon. "It's working," Jackson exclaims. The moment of victory is short-lived. Warning lights flash across all stations as the Defiant's power reserves plummet to critical levels. All systems shutting down to preserve life support, Rodriguez reports grimly. "We did it, Captain. We survived their superweapon. But now we're dead in space." On the view screen, the collective fleet regroups, weapons charging for what will surely be the final assault. The luminous figures move through solid matter as if it doesn't exist, appearing simultaneously throughout the battlefield. Aboard the Defiant, the bridge crew watches in stunned silence as one materializes beside Captain Novak's command chair. The entity appears humanoid but composed entirely of intricate patterns of light, shifting and reforming constantly. When it speaks, the words form directly in their minds rather than through sound. "You have demonstrated qualities long absent from this region of space," the being communicates. "Ingenuity, adaptability, restraint in victory, protection of the vulnerable. These were the values of those who came before." Novak finds her voice. "You're representatives of the precursors who built this station. We are their legacy. Guardians left to identify worthy successors." The entity gestures, and a three-dimensional map of the galaxy appears, countless points of light connected by intricate pathways. "Our creators seeded this galaxy with the potential for life, hoping diversity would flourish in countless forms. Instead, the collective arose, enforcing homogeneity through conquest." On the view screen, similar entities can be seen aboard the collective vessels, communicating with their crews. The Arcath dreadnought remains frozen in attack position, its weapons charged but unable to fire within the temporal stasis field. "Your species faces extinction at the hands of the collective," the Guardian continues. "We offer an alternative. Our creators left repositories of knowledge and technology throughout the galaxy, sealed until worthy inheritors emerged. We judge humanity qualified to access these resources." Dr. Washington steps forward cautiously. "You're offering us advanced technology to defeat the collective. We offer more than weapons. We offer understanding that the collective has rejected in its pursuit of dominance." The entity turns to Vornak, "Including liberation for species forced into servitude. The implications sink in. Protection for Earth. Access to technology beyond human understanding. The end of the collective's reign of conquest." Novak considers the offer carefully. "What happens to the collective species if we accept? Are they destroyed?" The Guardian's patterns shift in what might be surprise. "You concern yourself with the fate of those who came to annihilate you. If we're worthy inheritors, it's because we understand that ending one form of conquest only to begin another solves nothing." Novak responds, "I propose an alternative. Use your authority and knowledge not just to protect Earth, but to transform the collective into a true cooperative alliance where all species retain their autonomy and unique qualities." The Guardian is silent for a moment, its patterns pulsing more rapidly. "In 5 billion years of observation, no species has responded to our offer with concern for their enemies. It moves closer to Novak. Perhaps this is why you were chosen. Your proposal requires the consent of all involved. Are you prepared to negotiate such a monumental change? Novik's gaze turns to the frozen collective fleet on the view screen, then to her crew, and finally to Vornak. That's what humans do best. We find common ground where none seemed possible. Captain Novak stands on the observation deck of the Defiant, watching as the diplomatic fleet approaches the newly discovered world. The planet gleams blue-green in the light of its yellow star, reminiscent of Earth yet uniquely its own. Readings confirm pre-industrial civilization. Science Officer Washington reports, joining her at the viewport. Their technological development appears equivalent to Earth's early 18th century. Novak nods thoughtfully. And we arrive in vessels that must seem like magic to them. The responsibility is enormous. Which is why the protocols you established are now standard for all first contact scenarios, Washington reminds her. No technological displays that might intimidate. Cultural exchange before resource discussions. Equal representation from all Alliance species in the contact team. A year ago, such careful diplomatic considerations would have been unimaginable to most of the species now working together aboard the expedition vessels. The transition hasn't been seamless. Centuries of collective dominance left deep scars. But the foundation grows stronger each day. Commander Chen enters the observation deck, accompanied by Vornak, whose position as liaison between former collective species and humans has become vital to the Alliance's success. The contact team is assembled. Chen reports. Representatives from 17 species, all briefed on non-interference protocols. Vornak's scales shift to the blue-green pattern that humans have learned indicates satisfaction. The Arcath cultural attaché has completed her analysis of the planet's communication methods. Despite her species' former reluctance, she admits the value of understanding before engagement. Progress, Novak acknowledges with a smile. Sometimes slow, sometimes painful, but real. The comm system activates with Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. The Precursor Repository Excavation Team has made another breakthrough. They believe they found star charts mapping unexplored regions beyond the former collective boundaries. New frontiers, Washington breathes, her scientific curiosity evident. Inform Earth will review their findings after completing our mission here, Novak responds. She turns her attention back to the planet below, where millions of beings live unaware that their understanding of the universe is about to fundamentally change. As the Defiant moves into stable orbit, Novak fingers the small fragment of hull plating she keeps in her pocket. Her reminder of that first desperate battle that could have ended in Earth's destruction, but instead launched humanity into its role as galactic peacemaker. First contact protocols are now active, Chen announces as the specialized communication erased power-up, designed to transmit simple mathematical and visual patterns that transcend language barriers. Captain Novak takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Humanity's journey among the stars continues to evolve in ways no one could have predicted when the Defiant first engaged the Kravak vessel. Let's introduce ourselves, she says quietly, carefully, respectfully, and honestly. The way first contact should always be.